about the last time somebody used an eraser.
Oh yeah, it could be. So we're at the Scranton Fringe Festival, and sometimes I stutter, and then people laugh. And anyway, do we have anybody who's also in a show?
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, right
His
here.
show is awesome.
Oh yeah. Let's talk to the mechanical
Yeah?
dancer, right?
No,
Mechanical musician.
sort of.
Let's bring her out. Yeah. Let's find out.
What gave it away? I thought I was undercover.
I think we were alerted to your presence as well.
Shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What's your name?
Carmel,
Carmel. And what's the show?
the marvelous mechanical musical maiden.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been mechanical for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a condition that I've always lived with.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
I am from all over, and I've been traveling a bit with the show. I've been overseas with it, all over the States, and that's cool. It's been beta tested, and now it's nice and settled.
Oh, yeah.
And
Has anybody seen it or
no,
is it on
because
their-
I only had opening night,
Yeah,
and
oh, yeah.
no one came except for those two people.
Oh yeah.
And we had, unfortunately, they showed up after we had alerted the staff that we were canceling.
What about,
But you can come Friday, Saturday, or Sunday.
And is it on anyone's radar?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Sunday.
yeah. Oh yeah.
He showed up. He showed
And,
up.
yeah.
What about Madame Jenny? Is that like an excerpt or?
The show. So I did a cabaret show on Saturday, which was an opening ceremony kind of thing of like, let's have a party because the Scranton Fringe is happening.
Yeah.
So I hosted it and produced it, and we had some other people there, including Michael Burgos, who's right there, who has a show as well.
Oh yeah. Who might be a guest in a few minutes?
You never know.
Yeah.
And so that I sang a song while I played music from my own tits. Because I have a device that allows me to do that, and it's a proto version of the suit that I wear while I am the mechanical maiden that plays music. But I don't squeeze my own tits in the show.
Okay.
I strip out of the jacket, but I don't actually.
Wow. Where else? You said you've been traveling internationally. Where was your most exciting international show? What
Could you narrow down the usage of the word exciting?
like fun? Like
Fun, not terrifying?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Australia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of terrifying animals there.
They say that America has more terrifying animals than Australia.
Really?
Yeah, because we have bears
Oh,
and mountain
yeah.
lions
Oh yeah.
and
They have scorpions.
alligators
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
crocodiles. Or we don't have crocodiles.
We do.
We have, no, we do because they're in Louisiana, and alligators are the ones in Florida.
No,
Yeah.
crocodiles are in Florida, but alligators are everywhere.
Oh, thank you.
Oh.
Yeah,
Give it up for a nature expert.
Yeah. So we think that it's a terrifying place. It's really just that they have poisonous spiders. I think that that's actually what's the most terrifying thing about it. And racism. There's that. They're real.
They're bad at that
They're
too?
so bad at it.
Worse than us?
Well, they keep saying that they're really bad at it,
Oh,
but
okay.
I live in the South, so I'm kind of like, you guys are.
You guys are worse.
You have such
Nice.
such a cute notion of
Yeah.
what it sounds like a day of a bad day of racism is like. I'm like, wow, Hunter, Richmond, Virginia,
yeah.
I experienced that. But they take it seriously, the people who are activists, and, which is, I think is great.
Yes.
So I was at Adelaide Fringe, which is the second largest fringe festival in the world. It's and yet so charming and homey, and it takes care of you.
Nice.
So yeah, I had a lot of fun there. It was
I've never been to Australia.
Wow.
No.
it's worth a trip. You should go. There's 1,600 productions that you could choose from.
Wow.
I know, right? There's a lot going on.
Yeah. Hey, let's have questions from.
What was the most terrifying?
The most terrifying?
Oh, yeah.
It's actually New Zealand.
Right across the.
Which I did
some-
right after Adelaide
Yeah.
because they have all of the mystery pollen that doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. So I got off the plane and I immediately stopped being able to breathe. And I had to cancel my first show. Apparently it's a trend for me. I
Yeah.
had to cancel my first show. I was in bed for a week trying to get well enough to do the show, and I had to cancel it anyways. And
Yeah.
and the next show, I even like lost my voice, blew it out right in the middle of it, and I thought I was going to die. So, and it happened. I went to New Zealand earlier in my lifetime, and the same thing happened. So it was kind of like the island.
Like
It's
you
like,
should know,
you should
yeah.
come here because it's beautiful and hobbits and like you love all this shit. And I'm like, it's so like sexy, and I want to go, and it's so great. I've got a place to stay. It's gonna be. And then I got off the plane, and it was like, we didn't manage to kill you last time you were here, but we're gonna try again. So that was exciting because I was like, this is the worst idea
Right.
I've ever had.
Nowhere to go but up.
I
Yeah.
want to hear about your suit. The suit that you wear
Yeah.
that plays music.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
All right, so a bad bitch lady coder friend of mine and I developed it together. She's a cellist and a collaborator of mine from way back, and she switched from being expanded from being a classically trained cellist to being a coder. And I was like, I really want this device to like play. Like, let's make it like a jukebox. And then I can hit different parts of it, and it'll play different parts of a song. And she's like, okay. I was like, and then I want to flip like a giant switch, like I'm like waking up Frankenstein. And she's like, yeah, we can totally do that. I was like, great. And then she like laser cut out a thing, and we're gonna do a thing. And then like within moments of us looking at it, I said, but what if it were on my boob? She went, yes, we can do that. Different buttons, and like brought out a different box of buttons, and I went upstairs and I grabbed an old bustier bra, and we just like were like, okay, this is how it's gonna work. And so she created this motherboard out of Adafruit motherboard and built some buttons into the underwire of a bra. And like it's 4 different pieces of one song. It's the As the World Falls Down by David Bowie, which is what you saw at the cabaret the other night. And so it's battery operated, and it has an auxiliary jack that goes into an amp or anything that plays music out of an auxiliary jack. And so I just can activate the different pieces of the song by squeezing. I'm pushing buttons. I'm not actually squeezing my breast. And so that was the proto version of it. And then I said, but I want to play a bunch of songs. How do we do that? She's like, okay. And so we built the same idea, same kind of pieces in Arduino and their coding language. And it was really big now, because so it's like it's still very small, but it's way bigger. And the buttons are actually conductive material, so it's something that you can sew. But if you touch it with your bare skin, it'll activate. It'll create a circuit. It'll flip switch essentially. Close the circuit, and so we loaded up the motherboard with music that she and I recorded and performed, and so some of them are loops and some of them are just the song played all the way through, and then so I can activate them on my clothing just with the touch of my hand. So, and I kind of strip out of the jacket that I'm wearing, so I look like a fever dream. I like there's this, and then there's like from the neck down, it's this like really intense, hyper-colored, Rococo Victorian fever dream situation. So I look like a porcelain doll.
How much does that weigh?
Almost nothing.
Really?
Yeah. So and the
It's
cool
all,
thing is
it's all
that
Arduinos these days.
yeah, but the cool thing is that I actually have all the speakers and shit in my panniers and my underwear. So they're not in my underwear. It's panniers are a sort of underwear. So I walk around with these big hips like a hoop skirt, and there's speakers inside, so I can activate it and it plays music from my person. So I can. It's really cool because there's like a subtle change that happens when you're watching something and you think you know where the sound is coming from, and then it passes you, but you can still hear it, but your experience of the sound has changed. So I get really close to people. I come off the stage. I do most of the work actually in the audience. So it's really cool, and it totally broke a couple of times while I was overseas. That was exciting.
Oh, yeah.
And I was holding it together with
Exciting
clear nail
theory.
polish
Yeah.
and bobby pins and prayer, just like hoping One day it was so hot in Adelaide that my skin was radiating so much heat that it was actually like ghosting and activating all of the connective material. So now it's working. It's really secure and solid. And
In what venue?
I'm at Madame Jenny's,
Madame
which
Jenny's.
is a really
Everyone
cool.
Hear of it? Know of it?
It's a really cool speakeasy space. It's a little bougie feeling when you walk in. You're like, am I allowed to be here? So like, they got really great food and great drinks, and they're very welcoming. So I highly recommend it. And it's you have to go through the gauntlet of a super bro-y bar. So have faith.
Yeah.
Go towards the red light. And there's another show there called Temptress, and she's not here, but so there's a couple of shows, but yeah, it's gonna be a good season.
Nice.
I'm at Charm City Fringe after this, down in Baltimore.
Alright.
So tell your people.
You're gonna be there.
Give it. Oh yeah, it'll be in there next Friday. Yeah.
Oh, for Fringe?
Yeah.
Yeah, and,
Baltimore.
and Michael as well.
Yeah.
We're on tour together.
Yeah. Just give it up for Carmen. All right. Oh, let's who's got